And the song says, "Thunder, you stomp your feet."
Lord all. OTW's girlfriend done slapped him out his chair. Poor old boy, it ain't his. So hard not to stare at that honky tonk, but donkey donk. Keeping curvy rhythm make you wanna swing along. Got it going on like Donkey Kong. And ooh, shut my mouth, slap your hand on. There ought to be a law, get the sheriff on the phone. Lord have mercy, how she even get them bitches on? That honky tonk, but donkey donk. Now, honey, you can't blame her for what mama gave her. You got to hate her for that much. Band's just down at 2, but we're hanging out till 3. We hate to see her go, but love to watch her leave with that honky tonk, but donkey donk, but donkey.
That's how you're supposed to wear a pair of Wranglers right there, by God.
With that honky tonk, but donkey.
Pulling that trailer full of ass.
To see her go, but love to watch her leave with that honky tonk.
Good evening and welcome to Lake Erie Speedway for round number 2 of the Crosby's Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Summit Racing Equipment. The stage is set. The top 16 are out here in front of you fans, joining us here in beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania. To eyes around the entire United States watching on Flow Racing, hello, I'm Ben Bruno, joined in the booth with Zach Snyder and Brandon Dempsey. We've seen a ton of action. What do we think we got in front of us here tonight, fellas?
I think we are lined up for one of the most fantastic nights of drifting we've had so far in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, Ben.
Yeah, looking at the top 16 lineup that we've got going on, we've got a lot of really good, consistent drivers out there. And right out of the gate, we're going to be starting with some pretty serious, heavy-hitting battles just starting off the night here. You can see some of them on the bracket here on the stream screen right now. Troy Manners and Alan Boss leading us off. And then for anybody who was watching along in the YouTube, we saw a lot of people cheering for this one to happen. Jimmy Oakes is going to be going against Eli.
So if you're new to the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, we have huge payouts every round. Tonight, the first place finisher is going to take home $5,000 and a big jump in the points towards being the #1 overall champion of the series to get their Formula Drift Pro Spec license. Second is going to take home $2,500, third, $1,250, fourth, $700, fifth, $500, sixth, $350, seventh, $350, eighth, also $350, ninth and 10th going to round out the pay scale at $125. At the end of the season, the champion gets $2,500 plus their prospect license and a brand new driver suit from Velocita USA. Second place will take home $1,250, third $750, fourth $500, and fifth $500. So we're in the meat of the schedule here in the first half of our doubleheader weekend here of rounds number 2 and 3 of our 4 available rounds. So it's time to make it happen here this weekend.
All right, so just to give you guys a quick rundown of the layout here tonight. If you're watching at home and you're on stream on Flow, you can see the start there is lined up. The way that's going to work is the driver has a chicane. The chase driver has a straight line out of the gate. And the way that works is the chase driver is technically speaking allowed to jump the light if it helps them make up some ground on a faster car. The lead driver obviously has a chicane to slow him down. And then you can see 3 lines painted on the ground. Those are the 1, 2, 3 initiations, 3, 2, 1. They have to be at angle before they cross the third line. There's an outside zone immediately following that. Big transition across the infield of the track to a full outside zone that's basically the entire outside of the second sweeper. Then they have to come off of that, get down to the inside of the track. They have to get at least a tire inside of that, considered an inside zone, a clipping point. And then there's going to be another transition across the infield to that final outside zone to finish it off. There's been a lot of really aggressive driving here tonight, and I can only imagine in top 16 it's going to get significantly harder.
Absolutely. I mean, if you've tuned into the live stream at all today, that's just a small taste of what you're going to get here in the top 16. If you've been here on the property with us, can't thank you enough for joining us. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves so far, because what we're going to get next, I'm not even sure I'm ready for. So no shortage of talent in the field coming from far and wide, Canada, the United States, all over the place.
And for those of you who were here just getting in for the top 16 and you missed out on the 32, you will be able to go and watch that back at a later time so you don't miss out on any of the action. And just as a reminder, for tomorrow, we do have a back-to-back round. So if you are looking for something to do on your Saturday, you can head over to your local Crosby's, pick up a ticket, come on back. We're doing round 3 tomorrow. Same exact schedule as today, same drivers, new layout, reset everything. We're going to send them again tomorrow for another round of competition.
If you haven't already, make sure that you head on over to all the social media pages on YouTube at Great Lakes Pro-Am Series so that you never miss any of the action. At Lake Erie Speedway on all your major socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you can catch highlights, clips, some of the most insane footage you'll ever see from our awesome media team down there on the track in the highlighter vest. Everybody put your hands together for the media team. Also, shout out to Propped Productions for putting together an awesome live stream for Flow Racing, and earlier on in the day, YouTube and Facebook. I'd like to take one quick special moment for a huge recognition to our general manager, AJ Moore. You can see him down there in the blue shirt, for making all of this possible, bringing in all the sponsors that make this possible to give all of us Hoonigans some place to call home and hold awesome competitions like this as well.
And speaking of people who are responsible for everything going on at the track here, as we've had a couple of incidents throughout the day, just want to give a huge shout out and a very, very big thank you to all the safety guys and the fire crew that are working here at the track. We've had a couple of incidents today. Well, I would say a couple cars on fire, but only one car on fire a couple of times, and they were very quick to get over there and take care of that incident. So big thank you to those guys for keeping everybody safe here and for doing what they do.
So just to give you a quick history lesson here, the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series became a thing after some interest at the grassroots level. If you're new to drifting, at the grassroots level, we have the Drift PA, Ohio, New York, Matt's Erie events here. The next one is the first week of September, Neon Glow Matt's Erie. If you haven't already, make sure that you go grab a ticket, or as a spectator, you can just walk up and come pit side and get a ticket. So spawned right from there, a bunch of interest in wanting to do some competition drifting. So we threw some stuff together. Our first one was held in 2019. After navigating the challenges of COVID in 2020, the Speedway wanted to go to a more structured 3-round tandem championship in 2021. Following Formula Drift's visit to Lake Erie Speedway in 2021, conversations began about taking the next step of creating an official Pro-Am program. That led to the formation of the Crosby's Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Summit Racing Equipment in 2022. In 2021, Fred Maybach was the champion, built a car to go to the next level, and unfortunately never quite made it. Also, I'd like to make an honorable mention here that Dave Nashwinter, our competition director, up here in the booth, finished second in the inaugural year. 2022, it was born. Dan Malvazio wins the 2022 championship to get his pro spec license, and he built a car and went and competed, which he ended up selling to Reese. 2023, you can see him down there on grid. Current pro spec driver Alan Boss took home the championship. And as well, we had a lot of participation that year from current pro spec driver Adam Heichman. And that kind of brings us up to today. Troy Manners wins the previous year, and then Alan Boss wins in 2025. So 2025, Alan back into pro spec, currently driving in the pro spec ranks, and a lot of the drivers in this top 16 field tonight were the top 3 finishers in last year's competition. So there's no shortage of talent in the field, and as I said, we're going to be well on our way to crowning the 2026 Crosby's Great Lakes Pro-Am champion after this weekend. So there's a lot on the line. It might not seem like it, but these drivers are feeling it, especially when they get buckled up and pull up to that line.
And one of the things that we talk about here at the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series is that when it comes to drifting, especially at this level, progression is one of the big things that we talk about here. So most of the people that you're seeing out here on the grid right now all started the same way majority of people do in the grassroots area, just trying to learn what they're doing, figure out if they've got a good understanding for it, make their way up the ranks. After you go through your grassroots, you end up getting into your first tandem competitions, which is what you guys are witnessing here today, just on a little bit of a higher level. Then once you get comfortable in your tandem competitions, you end up finding your way right here to a Pro-Am series, just like what we're doing with the Great Lakes Pro-Am. Of course, there are quite a few other Formula Drift Pro-Ams in the country. Then, once these guys get the championship here, just like we see Mr. Alan Boss down there on grid, they make their way up to FD Pro Spec, and in some cases, even all the way to Pro.
Without further ado, let's get straight into it here. If you are able, please rise. Remove your hats for the observation of the Canadian and American national anthems. Thank you, everybody. Without further ado, let's take it down trackside to our good friend Darren Hargecourt to introduce you to all these great top 16 drivers.
Well, thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. And thank you to all the fans that showed up tonight on Friday night. We sincerely thank you for taking time out of your day. But now, without further ado, let's get into our top 16. Hailing from Punxsutawney, PA, driving a 1JZ Nissan 240SX, our 2024 Pro-Am Great Lakes champion, Troy Manners. Big shout out for Distinct Drift, XXR Wheels, Fortune Auto, ISR Performance, and ACT Clutches. From Oak Harbor, Ohio, driving a LS-powered Nissan 350Z, sponsored by Yeetworks, FabMac, Koenig Wheels, Wilder Drift, Extreme Graphics, and 272 Motorsports, your reigning and defending Great Lakes Pro-Am champion, Alan Boss. From Wallingford, Connecticut, driving a 2JZ S14, sponsored by Ineos, Stance, and Tire Streets, Jimmy Oakes. Hailing from Laconia, New Hampshire, driving a 4.8 turbo 2003 Chevy Corvette, sponsored by Lucier Motorworks, Drift the East Driving School, Fuel Lab Fuel Systems, Shipping Containers of New England, Cybertron, Mr. Eli Lucier. From Diamonddale, Michigan, driving a 2JZ Nissan 240SX, sponsored by Threads and Laces, Hometown Collision, Lifted Media, and 660 Media, Mo Alderman. From Georgetown, Virginia, driving an Infiniti G35 powered by an LS, sponsored by Slip Club, Kyle Hoyer. From Colchester, Connecticut, driving a 2006 Mustang with a 5.2-liter Voodoo engine, sponsored by Rips Racing, Redline Oil, Paragon Pro, RTS, Allard, Palmer Landscaping, Mr. Eric Kananowitz. That's way harder to say than everybody gives me credit for. From Vermilion, Ohio, driving a Nissan 370Z, sponsored by Race Labs Industries, Muffler Delete Media, Great Lakes Auto Glass, Mr. Brian Martin. Oh, cool, sick. I can read. From Elyria, Ohio, driving a VQ37 Turbo 370Z Nissan, sponsored by 2 Horsepower Media, VPF Tuning, DTC, Oddball Motorworks, and Lake Erie Dirtworks, Mr. Theon Nelson, the Burnout King. From Massillon, Ohio, driving a supercharged LS Scion FRS, sponsored by Rose Motorsport, Lake Erie Speedway, give it up for Elliott Rose. From Toronto, Canada, driving a Dart 427 LS E46, sponsored by Slip Club, Fabmatic Industries, FDF Race Shop, Fuel Lab, AD Parts. Give it up for Liam Stanford. From West Newton, PA, driving an LS3 Chevy Corvette, sponsored by Distinct Drift, Distinct Appearance, Stage Wheels, and Zestino Tires. Put your hands together for Craig Puss. All the way from Leesburg, Virginia, driving a M50 B30 turbo BMW E46, sponsored by Maryland Motorworks. Give it up for Christopher Gonzalez. Oh my God. From North Collins, New York, driving an LS2 BMW 135i, sponsored by him and himself. Give it up for Joshua Leatherborough. It said none. I'm like, oh. From Chardon, Ohio, driving a turboed M52 B28 BMW E36. Give it up for Luke Gillespie. Right? That's how you say it? Right. And last but not least, hailing from Beaver Falls, PA, driving an N54 BMW 335i, sponsored by Distinct Drift, the one, the only, Steve Davidis. Ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet and get your hands together for this top 16. Back up to you in the booth, Ben.
Thank you, Darren. Absolutely wonderful job letting everybody know who the drivers fielding the top 16 will be. I'm going to toss it back over to Brandon so that everybody on Flow Racing understands what the layout is. Then we'll get these drivers stacked up and ready to go for some live action.
Alrighty, so if you take a look at your screen here, you can see the track map for the layout that we're running today. Very similar to another track over in New Jersey, as it is based on it, the Englishtown Gambler layout over there. You start over by where turn 1 is in turn 2. Drivers are going to make their way through the start chicane and then go by that green line. That is their initiation point. Drivers have to be initiated by that. They're going to go through that outside zone number 1 there, which there is a wall there, so drivers have to be a little bit cautious with how they initiate. Don't want to get caught up in that. They're going to transition through the middle of the track and then go to the big long sweeper that is outside zone number 2. Then they're going to bring it into an inside clip, transition one more time through the center, and then they're going to have a little bit of a tightening zone of outside zone number 3 there across the finish line.
Lake Erie Speedway, you guys excited to get to the action or what? I've been waiting all day for it, baby. Let's roll. We got through seating. We got through top 32. And now it's time to make the hay here at Lake Erie Speedway for round number 2 of the Crosby's Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And we're not going to waste any time getting to the absolute heat of battle, because our first battle is going to see a former pro driver in Troy Manners against current prospect driver Alan Boss. As Darren had mentioned, and we had mentioned previous to that, Alan has been a former champion of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, won the series last year. The year before that, Troy Manners won the year before that. So Two former winners that have every bit of car and skill that it takes to be able to make it to the top ring of the podium here this evening and for the entire season. $11,000 in total up for grabs amongst these 16 that we're going to watch do battle. Lake Erie Speedway, I hope that you're ready because it's going to be intense.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Ben. This top 16 is loaded with potential for absolute monstrous battles. Especially, I mean, the first two coming up, that could be a final any day of the week, and I'd be excited to see it. Troy Manners, obviously the most calculated, borderline vicious driver on the track right now. Alan Boss, former champion, pro spec driver with probably one of the most heinous cars on the property this weekend, if not the most. Troy is just such a calculated, super consistent. Alan's a little bit more of a wild child. Sometimes you get precision razor's edge driving. Sometimes it's just throw it at the wall and we see what sticks, baby. And I'm here for it. I cannot express how excited I am to watch this tonight.
Yeah, some of the battles that we've got coming up tonight are going to be absolute barn burners. One of the ones that I'm actually really looking forward to seeing is Mo Alderman going against Kyle Hoyer. Two guys who we've seen quite a few times out here, and they've thrown down before. I don't know if they've thrown down against each other in the series. I don't believe that's the case. But we know what they're capable of. They've both been having a really good weekend so far. I'm very excited to see what those guys do against each other. I think that's going to be a very fun matchup.
Another one that got spammed all through the chat all day long, talking about Eli Lucier going against Jimmy Oakes for the rematch, and you will get to see it here shortly. Super excited about that. Eli's been dialed in all day. Obviously, Jimmy taking home first in the seating bracket. He's obviously got it figured out and knows what's going on, and I am just pumped for the entire night of driving. The track's obviously cooled down quite a bit from this morning, and it's going to be a little bit stickier, going to be a little bit faster. Track conditions are going to change as we move forward. It's going to be something to see.
The stage is set. The cars are ready. And at the line, Troy Manners on your right side there in the JZ-powered S chassis. Alan Boss in the LS Supercharged 350Z on the left. About 1,600 horsepower at the starting line in combination at the moment. Lights are on, lights are out, and the drivers are going to go through the chicane towards outside zone number 1. Manners initiates. Alan Boss, heavy on the throttle in the chase position, throws a ton of angle in transition. It's going to set him back a little bit as Troy, with a small waiver in outside zone number 2, fills all of outside zone number 2. Good job through the inner clip as Alan's struggling to keep up here with Troy. Great way to start the top 16 here. Alan just trying to claw back to the door of that S chassis.
Yeah, as we get a chance here, take a look at the replay. It looked like, from our perspective at least, Troy not quite getting into that first outside zone. You can see it there, touches the very beginning, and then maybe the very end dips a tire into it, but ultimately doesn't fill it. Gets right out to outside zone number 2 as Alan Bosch trying to make up some ground there. Troy kind of wavering a bit in and out of the zone there, not really filling the whole thing. Gets that inside clip. Alan Boss not even in the picture here on the live stream as they cross the line. And I swear, man, Troy's car gets faster based on who he's driving against. It's such an insane weapon of a vehicle.
We're going to flip him around here. Alan Boss now to the lead from Oak Harbor, Ohio. Troy Manners in the chase from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Home of that rascally groundhog. Lights go out. Alan makes his way through the chicane. Troy in tow. Alan with a calculated initiation. Troy right up against the door. Much cleaner job in transition for Troy from the chase position. Now starting to fall back just a little bit. Coming out outside zone number 2. Troy able to close the gap back down. Past the inner clip. Troy shoots through. Temporarily lost in the tire smoke and now back up against the door of Alan Boss. Lake Erie Speedway makes some noise.
Yeah, that was a very good way to start our top 16 here. Obviously, Alan Boss, current prospect driver, Troy Manners. I mean, the guy's done pretty much everything at this point, and he is an absolute rocket ship out there. You can see him behind Alan Boss. Very much so the opposite of what we saw with Allen chasing him down, just able to stay in that pocket. Alan Boss, though, putting on a pretty good lead line here, using a little bit of left foot brake to massage back into the zone. But he does pick up, actually over exceeds a little bit that inside clip there. So plenty deep. And then right there, you see Troy had a little bit of a weird transition trying to get back up to Boss's door. And he does catch up at the end there, but he was not present for the first half of that last zone.
Yeah, if I had to make an assumption, I would say that Alan's Boss's lead was probably actually better than Troy's. He got all the zones everywhere he needed to be, and Troy's chase was just textbook where he needed to be pretty much everywhere. Maybe could have been a little bit closer here and there, but at the same time, you're dealing with so much tire smoke and trying to manage distance that I have no notes.
So as we await this one, as Zach had mentioned before this battle, up next we're going to have Eli Lucier with the yellow headlights in the C5 Corvette, and Jimmy Oakes in the green JZ-powered S chassis in chase. As you can see, our beautiful Erie sunsets making this track smoke a complete screen for the drivers. This is our first battle, not an easy one to call for the judges as they continue to deliberate on who's going to take home the first battle of the top 16.
Yeah, and as I had mentioned earlier, it's nice that we're so close to the lake because, typically we have a breeze, but completely dead air here tonight. So the smoke is just sitting inside of the track. It's crazy.
And the commentator's curse strikes once again. We've got no wind out here now. You just had to say something earlier, Zach. And there it is. The call is in. Alan Boss is going to be advancing over Troy Manners. So we will be seeing Alan Boss move on to the top 8. Troy Manners out in the 16.
There's going to be a big upset here to get the night going. Not necessarily an upset, but a big battle to give call to on the first one of the night. So we'll see what we got in store here next. Both of these guys have been absolutely on point. We got Jimothy Oakes from Wallingford, Connecticut in the JZ S chassis and chase. Eli Lucier on the lead. Eli initiates into outside zone number 1. All 9,000 RPM of that LS Screamin' exceeds the track limit a little bit. He's leaving it all on the line as Jimmy has to keep this thing in the gas to try to get back to the door of this LS Monster Corvette. He surges forward to outside zone number 3 with leaving hardly any space on the way out.
Yeah, I'd have to say that was the first time today that I believe Jimmy's been pushed to actually have to make that car work for it here as we look at the replay. You can see here on the initiation just a little bit overzealous there from Eli. Goes 2 tires off on that first outside zone. And you can see Oakes there has to lunge forward through that transition trying to get to the side of the Corvette. Eli filling all of that second outside zone. Jimmy just slowly kind of making up some ground there as they come past the inside clip. And then this huge dive. Doesn't lose any ground, but I don't think he actually made any up. It looked like from up here he was much closer, but it looked like he maintained that gap all the way through the end of the run.
So certainly some things to be improved on here. This one could still go either way to the second half here as we throw some cones back out that Eli didn't want to be there anymore. But again, I mean, how good does this 9,000 RPM LS sound, man? It's crazy.
Yeah, whenever Eli said that he was going to do that initially, we all kind of questioned his logic because you have so many options with an LS. Why would you pick the smallest one? But man, 9,000 RPM on a turbo V8 is cool. It just is.
Not to mention, right alongside of him, that 2JZ from Jimmy Oakes absolutely screaming out of the S chassis. I mean, every single time that thing backfires, I swear it's shaking the windows up here. 2 beautiful sounding cars going side by side. Doesn't really get much better than that.
Smoke has multiplied. The cones are set. So we should be able to get back to it. It is insane. I mean, you can see it on the stream on Flow, but here at the facility, it looks like we're in thick fog here. I mean, lights on, lights out. Jimmy Oakes now to the lead. Eli going to be in the chase. Both drivers initiate. Jimmy gets on the left foot brake. Eli's going to surge forward into outside zone number 2, trying to get the tire of that Corvette onto the door of the green S chassis. Jimmy not missing an inch so far in this run, as Eli right there as they come across the line. So mano y mano on this one. Great battle.
Yeah, absolutely amazing job by both drivers there. Jimmy puts down a nearly flawless lead line, and Eli taking full advantage of it that entire battle. You can see here straight line initiation from Jimmy in the lead gives Eli nice and close there on initiation. As they come now to outside zone number 2, you can see Eli just surging forward, and he's really trying to get a black mark, and he does end up just poking the door of the S chassis. They come through transition here to that final outside zone, and you can see Eli once again just surging up. That Corvette, man, it has to have such an insane amount of forward bite.
Yeah, and you saw that little tap there from Eli in the chase position. Did not really upset the run at all there. Jimmy just absolutely stayed in it, did not let that affect him whatsoever out in the lead. And Eli, I think he's just having fun out there. He told Jimmy earlier probably that he was going to get that door, and, well, he got it for sure.
Yeah, and for the uninformed, this is a rematch battle. Apparently, Eli and Jimmy had done this before, and Jimmy ended up taking the win. So now there's a little bit of stake on the line, a little bit of bragging rights, maybe a little bit of payback here from Eli. But still up to the judge's decision. Really eager to see how this pans out. Both drivers did a phenomenal job on both sides of that lead and chase. And, man, just what a cool couple of cars. Effortlessly clean. Everything is beautiful everywhere. 2JZ power in the S chassis, crazy 9,000 RPM, real small turbo LS in the Corvette. Just cool all around, man. I have nothing but good things to say regardless of how this pans out.
While we wait for the decision to come in, up next we're going to have Mo Alderman in that teal-colored S chassis, JZ power under the hood in the lead first, and Kyle Hoyer in that root beer brown GLS-powered Nissan Infinity. Sorry, same thing. Tomato, tomato.
Nissan with leather seats.
Same thing, different font.
What does everybody think? Who's taking home the win between Jimmy and Eli? Make some noise if you think Eli's going to win. Make some noise if you think Jimmy's going to win. So a barn burner battle going to go one judge to Lucier and two judges one more time. Let's do it again, baby.
Yeah, and that is the one more time that you want to see. It's just too close to call. We're going to let the guys go back, cool the cars down, put some fresh tires on them, do all the little maintenance things they got to do, come back out and show us it all again.
And right now, down on the line, like we mentioned, we got Mo Alderman out in the lead position. Kyle Hoyer chasing him down in the Nissan Infinity. See what they're able to do here as Mo out in the lead in that beautiful blue and purple with the pink accents initiates in. Missing a little bit of the first half of the zone, but he does get it in through the ladder. And then Kyle with a major surge coming to outside zone number 2, but he does manage to get that G back into the pocket of the S chassis. Now Mo out in the lead, wrapping it into the inside clip after filling that second zone very nicely, grabs it. Kyle with, again, a big dive onto the door of Mo as they go through that last outside zone. With a very good first half of this battle. That was exciting.
Yeah, once again, we told you guys that the battles in top 16 were going to be a little rowdy, and here's proof of concept. Mo Alderman leading the way here. Kyle Hoyer in the chase. Good initiation by Mo. Doesn't quite get the beginning of that zone, but fills out the second half of it. You can see Kyle cuts the line just a little bit. Big surge all the way up to the side of the S chassis of Mo Alderman. Mo maintaining a little bit more angle, but probably actually has a little bit more power under the hood of the S chassis than Kyle does. And here, that really, really nice surge up forward from Hoyer to get right to the side of Mo to finish off the run. I'd like to see how this pans out because you'd have to imagine that Mo Alderman's spotter is in his ear going, we're going to have to push our limits a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's going into outside zone number 2. Mo was a little bit wide on the line. It allowed Kyle to close that gap up even with that difference. So great awareness by Kyle to, not be too jumpy on the line, because that's a big portion of it, right, is following that angle and line. So Kyle does a great job adjusting to Mo just a touch wide in transition to outside 2, and here we have it. There's a, I don't know that I would call it David and Goliath, but if you want to lightly address it as that, David really has a fighting chance here with Mo's big power JZS chassis.
All right, the lights are off. Kyle Hoyer going to lead the way now for Mo Alderman in the chase. Straight line initiation from Kyle Hoyer. Doesn't quite get into that first outside zone, just on the edge of it there. Almost the same line as Mo Alderman into that second outside zone, punting some cones up the bank, and then comes out of that second outside zone a little bit early. Mo Alderman falling back just a little bit here. Kyle Hoyer going to make his way to that final outside zone. Mo closing the gap down to about a car there to finish off the run. Very, very similar on both sides of this battle from each driver.
Absolute heater by Kyle Hoyer. Initiates into outside zone number 1. Just a bit shallow on outside 1. Misses the first quarter of it. Like Zach had mentioned, almost identical lines as Kyle drives out of outside zone 2 noticeably earlier than what Mo did. Good job on the inner clip as Mo starts to fall behind. You can tell Kyle's got the grip pounded at this thing. No issue.
Yeah, one of the things to note there that we're looking at here with the chase car, obviously affected a little bit by Kyle coming out of that zone early. That's going to cause him to fall back a little bit because once that lead car goes inside, for those of you who are not familiar with drifting, the way that the line works, if you go further inside, that means you're going to get around that part of the course faster, and there it is. Mo Alderman is going to be taking the win unanimously over Kyle Hoyer.
All right, big congratulations to Mo there. Moving forward here in the top 16 bracket, lined up on the starting line right now, Eric Kananowicz, and it looks like Brian Martin down there. Kananowicz going to lead the way in the first half of this battle. You can see Kyle Hoyer blowing a set off on the way out, some celebration.
I really wouldn't expect anything less as we get these last couple cones reset. Drivers are set and ready. Again, Eric Kananowicz all the way from Colchester, Connecticut with an awesome Voodoo swap in that car. Super cool engine. Brian Martin, the pride of Paynesville, in the chase. Kananowicz gets through the chicane. Martin in tow. Both drivers initiate. Brian Martin at a pretty good disadvantage through outside zone number 1 as Kananowicz absolutely plants it in outside zone number 2, trying to erase that white line at the back of the zone. Now starts to pull away on the way to outside zone number 3. Brian just started at a bit of a disadvantage and just wasn't able to make it up.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can hear it if it comes through as cleanly as it does here, but man, I don't think Kananowicz let off from outside zone 1 all the way through that inner clip, just standing on it everywhere. And you can see a bunch of angle there on initiation, drives out of outside zone 1 fairly early, but makes his way to outside zone 2, has 2 tires in it basically all the way around and just standing on the brakes, wide open throttle the whole way around. Makes his way to that inside clip, big transition here, knocks a couple of cones out of the way and gets to that final outside zone. Brian Martin just not able to maintain the pace there with Kananowicz that entire run, basically.
Yeah, the one issue that we did see from Eric out in the lead position there on the initiation, just maybe timing it a little bit wrong or possibly throwing a little too much angle at it there, causing him to go inside. He did miss, by the looks of it, almost all of outside zone number 1. So I got to think that if I was Brian Spotter, if he has a spotter, I'm not too sure. But if I was Brian Spotter, I'd be in his ear letting him know about that mistake, trying to capitalize that as much as I could.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have to assume that the spotter's words are probably going to be like, I wouldn't hold back, but at the same time, you did have a little bit of a gap there. Brian Martin now going to lead the way on the second half of this battle. You can see straight line initiation from Brian Martin, fills all that first outside zone, but Eric Kananowicz right there make their transition to the second outside zone now. Brian Martin noticeably slower. Kananowicz just trying to hold the Voodoo back behind the 370Z there. Coming through the inside clip now, they're going to transition to the final outside zone. Kananowicz giving him a little bit of space, not being too aggressive, but definitely in the picture all the way around the track. and he did get a little bit wide there in outside zone 2 in the chase. Maybe just can't get the wheel speed to maintain the grip to push the car forward the way he needs to, chasing Brian Martin there in the slower vehicle.
Yeah, take a look at the replay here. Brian does a really nice job in outside zone number 1, sets up just a touch early for outside 2, leaves him a bit shallow, but he does a good job of gathering it back up. Good job on the inner clip, and then as Zach had mentioned, Kananowicz just kind of trying to hold the Voodoo back a little bit. You couldn't see it from the drone view there, but he did go a couple tires off in outside zone number 2. So again, here we go, 3 for 3 on battles with absolutely terrible situations to judge, dude. Like, great battles. I wasn't going to say terrible battles. They're awesome. Being a judge, not it right now.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I definitely would not want to be a judge with the way that this battle played out there. Obviously, some mistakes on both sides here. A couple things that they're going to be looking at and reviewing up here. That's why we're still waiting on that decision. And while we wait on that decision, down at the line there, we do have the one more time between Mr. Jimmy Oakes and Eli getting ready to go. So that'll be the next thing that we see here. Right now, just, yeah, I would not want to be in the judge seat on this one at all.
So as we wait for that one, just to touch on this next one, we're going to see the one more time between Eli Lucier and Jimmy Oakes. Sometimes there's just situations that the judges want to see the driving really settle it. So if there's a horse apiece mistake aside that, could go one way or the other, let's really throw it out there and clearly define a winner. Let's step it up one level because, when you're at the helm of earning a pro spec license, you really need to be prepared to do your best driving with maybe 2-4 laps of practice at best on an FD weekend. We take a look at the side-by-side, as I had mentioned. Again, just another really hard one to call here between Kananowicz and Martin.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Kananowicz definitely in his chase made a couple of mistakes here and there, but Brian Martin in his chase wasn't necessarily as close as he probably should have been, and also had a couple of little bobbles here and there. So this is one of those things where it's just, who do you pick? I mean, either one of them has every right to move forward or lose this battle. It doesn't matter which way it goes. It'll be fair. So really interesting to see here that I know the judges are deliberating pretty hard.
Yeah, and another one of the parts of that run that the judges, I'm sure, were looking at is we do have a decision. It is in. One judge did go to Eric Kananowicz, but 2 judges, they're going to send him one more time. So we've got another one more time battle in the works. They're going to go back into the pits, get some fresh tires on there, reset themselves. Speaking of one more time battles, we're going to take it down to the line to see what Jimmy and Eli put down for their second battle.
Everything is set. Both drivers at the line. Eli Lucier in the lead. Jimmy Oakes in the chase position. We've got a successful start and initiation into outside zone number 1. Eli dialing in that initiation much more this time. Full speed into outside zone number 2, making Jimmy work for it from the chase position. I don't know that I've ever seen Eli so aggressive in the lead, and I love to see it. Jimmy doing everything that he can to keep up. It sets him up just a little bit inside of outside zone number 3. Eli Lucier absolutely stepping up to the plate here this weekend. So I would tell you, honestly, he might be my, after practice, maybe my favorite for the night.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Ben. I know we discussed it a little bit earlier today, but man, Eli picking up all the mistakes he had in his first run, cleaning everything up. And I swear to you, from second outside zone through that inner clip to the third outside zone, that car picked up 20 miles an hour. He is moving, never lets off the gas, a little bit of left foot brake to get her settled, and just stands on it. Actually pulls away from Jimmy there to finish off the first half of this battle.
Yeah, you see at the end of the run there, Jimmy unfortunately just falling out of drift a little bit there. Did manage to keep it going, but lots of angle loss there coming through that last outside zone. Just unable to keep up with the raw power of the C5 Corvette of Eli.
And we're ready for the second half of this one. Jimmy Oakes now in the lead, Eli in the chase. Jimmy's going to have to throw it down. He gets all of outside zone number 1, nice and fluent to outside 2. Eli absolutely throwing it at the door of the green S chassis into outside zone number 2. leaving him no room to breathe here at the inner clip, nearly brushing bumpers and surging to the door into outside zone number 3, Lake Erie Speedway. This is what we came for, baby. Woo!
All right, let's take a look at this replay because that is something to see twice. And you can see Jimmy pulls out maybe a car and a half there on initiation. Eli, though, says, where do you think you're going? Reels him in by outside zone number 2, pulls a little bit of angle out of the vet and just starts driving into the door of the S chassis all the way through that second outside zone. And watch this transition, maybe 3 feet between the bumpers there on transition to the final outside zone. Eli giving Jimmy no room to breathe. Absolutely fantastic chase. Glorious lead by both guys. Once again, I'm so glad I'm not judging.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a grudge match here. If I'm not mistaken, these guys battled a couple weeks ago in a more brute-style competition. So this one's certainly at minimum for bragging rights between these two guys. I know everybody in the chat earlier today was looking for this one, and these guys are absolutely delivering here in the top 16.
You can see over there at the line where they're waiting for the judge's decision. Oh, and there it is. It is unanimous. Eli going to be advancing on and taking the bragging rights over Jimmy Oakes. Congratulations, Eli, and you enjoy those bragging rights. I'm sure we'll see the Instagram stories in a little bit.
I mean, after that chase run, Eli deserves it. I mean, he fixed all of his issues he had on his lead, flipped it around, went into chase, and just pinned it to the door of the S chassis. You can hear him revving the engine. We know Eli's pumped. He's so excited right now.
Yeah, and really, again, you know, almost like these first couple battles that we saw, it's, you know, love to see a great battle, but tough to see somebody good go out so early. So up next, we got Theon Nelson in the lead, Elliott Rose in the chase in that red Scion, LS supercharged power under the hood for Elliott Rose from Massillon, Ohio, and Theon from El Raya. I know I butchered that. I know you guys hate that. So Theon in the lead, initiates into outside zone number 1. Throwing a little bit of gap to Elliott. Oh, Elliott gonna have to, oh! Nearly contact with the K-rail. Definitely would not like to play hide and seek with K-rails. That's never a good time, so. Oh, Theon! Oh, boy. See what the judges think about this. I was just about to say Theon going to have a massive advantage, but depending upon how the judges feel about the end of that one for Theon, this might be an interesting one.
Yeah, you can see here on the replay, Elliott goes to put it to angle to get to that second outside zone, and the car just straightens up on him and locks up the brakes, slides through the cones there, but doesn't make contact with the barrier, so good save on that, Elliott. You can see here Theon in the replay comes into that final outside zone. I don't know if he missed a downshift or what, man, but the car just falls out. Looks like it has no power, no forward push at all. And it does look like Theon is off the track. Elliott going to follow him out, so have to assume something broke. I'd almost want to say like an axle at that point.
Yeah, a number of things. Obviously, you know, with a boosted VQ application, things can definitely get interesting. Could be a D-bead, could be an axle, you know, a couple of different things that could be the case here as we get ready to see this one more time battle between Eric Kananowitz and Brian Martin. Again, huge shout out to Crosby's for supplying all of you awesome fans with free tickets for round number 2 and 3 here this weekend. If you haven't already, make sure that you grab a ticket for tomorrow's action, as things are only going to get riveted up from here. Pro Waste Services, making things possible here at Lake Erie Speedway. Summit Racing Equipment, Distinct Drift for being the tire provider of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. I'm sure both of these drivers, very well qualified, are going to be looking to step up what they had in their first battle.
Yeah, and if you think that this layout that you're watching right now is exciting, tomorrow we're running the bank, but right now it's all eyes on Eric and Brian as Eric initiates in. very similar, but a little bit better than his first set of battles here in outside zone number 1. But now through outside zone number 2, just planting that voodoo on the limiter all the way around, filling that zone. You can hear it screaming around track as he picks up that inside clip. Brian falls back a little bit through the transition outside zone number 3, but he does get back in the pocket. And Eric, he spins out after the line, luckily, not during the run. But Eric putting on an absolute heater in the lead in that Mustang.
The commitment and trust that Eric Kananowicz has for his transition from that inner clip to that final outside zone against that K-rail. I mean, he just sends it in there and holds it to the floor, and it's going to drive away, we hope. And you can see here on the replay what I'm talking about. He comes through here. He never lets off throttle. I don't think it left limiter. There's like a 1 second and then straight back on it and just all the angle, a little bit of left foot brake to keep it from coming around on him, and just stands on it, that final outside zone.
So again, Brian Martin from relatively close down the street in Ohio. Eric Kananowicz coming all the way from Colchester. Both really awesome builds, both really awesome dudes.
All right, now we're going to have Brian leading out Eric this time around. Brian again going for that straight line initiation. This time Eric able to match it a little bit better as he's now staying in the pocket with that Voodoo Mustang. And Brian very, very low on the angle coming through outside zone number 2. Yet again, there you see Eric shooting cones off of the track throughout that outside zone. The transition through, he's going to bring it right back. Oh, and a major backfire there out of Brian Z. Eric able to keep that Mustang held back and not hit him.
Yeah, I want to say Eric almost driving a little bit frustrated there. I mean, he initiated hard, and then you can see the entire way around the track just jumping in and out of the pocket there on Brian Martin. Definitely chasing a car that's considerably slower than the Mustang, and you can see it here on the replay. Brian touches the brakes, and Eric picks up 3 car lengths on him, and Eric, once again, not able to get the wheel speed underneath the Mustang to keep it from hitting those cones and dropping a tire. And as they come through this inside clip to the final outside zone, Eric jumps to the door there, and you can just see how quickly he's able to pick up ground when he needs to. And there's a running joke up here about Eric is never nice to that car, and it definitely shows. He comes out here on his lead run and just wide open the entire time. Then he gets behind him in chase, considerably less smoke, but every time he touches throttle, there's just so much grip in the Mustang.
As we await a decision, we wait no longer. Eric Kananowicz unanimously going to defeat Brian Martin. So up next, we're going to have Liam Stanford in the lead position in that 427 Dart-powered BMW up against Craig Pust in the blue C5 Corvette. When we get a chance here, I'm getting word that our pit reporter, Darren, has Jimmy Oakes over in the pits, so as soon as we can, we'll get a break and get some of Jimmy's thoughts. Well, we got a pull out here. We just needed to flip-flop.
All right, you can see there, guys switching places. Craig's going to lead the way first. Liam Stanford going to chase. Liam coming all the way down from Ontario, Canada. Craig from West Newton, PA. E46 427 Dart-powered LS in that thing. Craig LS3 under the hood of the Corvette. I would have to say that I would assume Liam probably going to have a little bit of an edge here speed-wise, but Craig no slouch in his own right. Very consistent driver. The guy's been driving the same car for quite some time, so he's got it just about figured out, I would have to assume. And obviously we love Craig because he's the owner of Distinct Tires, and he is sponsoring the series.
So get these last couple cones set here, and the track staff get out of the way, and we'll be ready to launch here. Really excited about this one. Both of these guys have been dialed through practice. And then into seating as well. So looks like everybody's clear. Light goes on. Light goes off. Craig Pust in the blue C5 Corvette out front. Initiates into outside zone number 1. Very timid initiation from Liam behind him, as now begins to suck up in outside zone number 2. Craig throwing a cone off the back of the Corvette at the inner clip, a big surge. They nearly rub bumpers in transition as Craig finishes out a solid lead through outside zone number 3.
Yeah, here in the replay, I really want to take a look at this initiation by Craig. He comes off of the chicane pretty aggressive and then does this little flick and a little bit of break there. Liam, though, maybe 2, possibly even 3 cars behind him, and a little bit of a shady transition there from 1 to 2 as well, trying to give Craig some space. Craig, you can see there, gets 1 tire out of the back of that zone, kicks a cone up the bank. Liam, though, making his way up to the side of the Corvette as Craig drops another tire, punts a couple more cones. Liam, though, I mean, not letting him get out of frame, but definitely not a super aggressive chase there anywhere on the track.
So again, just a cone or 2 to pick up. Everybody's getting themselves clear here. Back to our starter, Brian Reichert. Both drivers give the nod and are ready for the second leg of this one. Liam Stanford out front of Craig Puss now. Both drivers initiate. Craig falling off the line just a little bit, now able to suck it back up into outside zone number 2. He's going to lay tire up against the door of the Slip Club BMW to the inner clip. Liam doing a good job. Craig aggressive on transition. Big handbrake pull, going to set him up just short of outside zone number 3. So a couple of mistakes on both sides of this one.
Yeah, Craig coming into that final outside zone in chase. Looked like he locked up a front tire there. I'm thinking he maybe thought he was on a collision course, but ultimately the self-preservation kicks in. You got to do something. You can see here on the replay, Craig a lot less angle, just barely maybe rubs a tire there on the back of Liam's E46 here as they finalize that second outside zone through the inner clip to the final outside. Liam maybe dropping a tire. And Craig, I mean, man, he's way inside. I really think when he come through the smoke, he thought he was going to end up in a much scarier position than he actually was there, and just pulled the jets a little bit.
Decision is in. Liam Stanford unanimously going to take down Craig Pust here. Let's throw it over to Darren in the pits with Jimmy Oakes real quick.
Don't do that. This is my first day. All right, guys, we're back down here in the pits at the Great Lakes Grid Talk. Give me a second. That's kind of loud. We're down here with one of our last battles that just went down. It went really great the first time, and then we went one more time. We got Eli and Jimmy Oakes. All right? Eli, you came away with the win. How does it feel?
Oh, man, it feels amazing. Last time here for round 1, I got my butt kicked, had car issues and stuff, and I lost to Derek. So it's nice to beat one of my homies that I lost to last year at Street Series at Lock City. So this is it's cool to have the win.
Well, I'm super happy for you, man. But Jimmy, no love lost here. You put a heck of a run on 2 times in a row. How was his lead?
Dude, that car is a rocket ship. The first time, I remember we went on the entry and I just saw him. And I was like, oh my God. So, if you know, I gridded way far back on the second run, which was good, but that thing is so fast. I was playing catch up the whole time, which put me in the smoke trail. And from, 2 to 3, I was probably blind for 5 seconds, just full throttle. I'm going to either end up in a good spot or in the wall. And, I just ended up in the wrong spot. But, oh, my God, it was horrifying. But it was good. It was good. He built a hell of a car. He's a hell of a driver. That was sick. So.
Well, I'm so glad that we get to see this for the rest of the weekend. Eli, again, congratulations on moving on to the next round. And Jimmy, no love lost. We have all day tomorrow. Come on, guys. Really? I'm not a short guy. All right, back up to you boys up in the booth.
All right. I was just about to bring us back to the action, and we are seeing Josh Leatherborough leave the line here. Another flip-flop. So Josh Leatherborough going to take to the lead position Christopher Gonzalez going to take to the chase.
All right. Josh Leatherborough going to lead the way here for Chris Gonzalez. Straight line.
Restart.
Oh, there it is. Leatherborough hit a cone. That's the first time that's happened here in competition today. I'd like to explain that to you guys while we got a second. You cannot hit the starting cones. You can't do it. If you do, it's a dead ball. We got to restart the run. You have 3 strikes, and then you just forfeit your lap. So you got to be really careful. Tiptoe your way through that chicane and then make your way down to initiation there. We're going to re-rack them and let them go again here.
For everybody joining us on Flow Racing, we appreciate you spending your Friday evening with us here in beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania for round number 2 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Summit Racing Equipment. As we get a restart here, and we're out through there good. Josh Leatherborough misses all of outside zone number 1. Oh, a huge straighten from Gonzalez in the chase position in transition there. Josh a little bit shallow on outside zone number 2 as Chris gets it gathered back up. Both drivers head to outside zone number 3. So Josh left a lot of zones to be desired there, but Chris had a really big straighten there in transition.
Yeah, one of the things I want to look at on this replay here is it's showing up on the stream right now. This transition going from outside zone number 1 to outside zone number 2 looked a little bit rough for both of these guys. Obviously a little worse for Chris. He straightens up a little bit there. But Josh out in the lead even looked a little, I would almost say hesitant on that transition getting in outside zone number 2. Through the rest of the run, not looking too bad. Has 1 tire in all of outside zone number 3 there. And Chris just not a part of the picture after that straighten.
All right, we're going to flip them around. Chris Gonzalez is going to get a chance to lead here for Josh Leatherborough. The lights are on. As they extinguish, they leave the line. Chris out in front. Clean start. Everybody is good to go. A little bit of a weight transfer there by Gonzalez just to get the car to angle. Dips a tire into that first outside zone, but leaves it a little bit early. Big surge there from Leatherborough as they transition into outside zone number 2. Gonzalez just putting tires on the outside of that zone all the way through. Really nice job on that inner clip. Leatherborough not letting them get away now as they come to this final outside zone. And you can see there Josh just getting right to the rear quarter there of the E46 and just maintaining all the way through that final zone.
So again, I think, Chris had a really good opportunity here to capitalize in the lead position, and I think he left the door open to leave this one in the judge's hands. Maybe could have sealed, signed, and delivered himself into the grade 8 here tonight, but see what the judges think about this one. I mean, good driving from both guys, just a couple of mistakes on either side of it that kind of level the playing field here. Real quick while we wait, going to see the second half of Elliott Rose and Theon Nelson as the decision comes in. Joshua Leatherborough going to unanimously take down Chris Gonzalez here in top 16.
Yeah, and I'd have to assume that that was just due to that straighten there by Chris in the chase. Josh literally didn't do anything that would be considered unchaseable by any stretch of the imagination, and Chris maybe missing a gear. Something happened there, has to get her reinitiated into that second outside zone. But you can see there on the screen now, Elliott Rose going to lead the way here in the second half of this battle for Theon Nelson.
So again, calamity in this battle as it looked like Theon might be at a big advantage. See how the judges feel about it after the second half of this one. Elliott gets most of outside zone number 1, gets to outside zone number 2, just a little bit late, back to the heavy pedal, throwing cones, dropping a couple tires on the way, blows way wide of the inner clip as Theon not giving much room at all throughout this layout, even though there is probably quite a horsepower discrepancy between these two.
Yeah, and if I had to say, it looked like Elliott was driving mad there. Definitely came out and kept the throttle position 100% just about everywhere he could, and it might end up costing him here. I'm not really sure how the judges viewed the first half of this battle. We didn't get a chance to talk to him, so really eager to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, Elliott definitely running away from Theon a little bit there with his garage-built turbo kit that he taught himself how to do, so kudos to you for that. Looks like it's definitely doing its thing out there, Theon. But yeah, Rose just absolutely a rocket ship. Did look like he was out of the zones a little bit and on a little bit of a weird line there, so that might have helped him get away from Theon. Towards the end of the run, though, Theon catching right back up to him through that last zone. This is all going to come down to that first run, and we do have unanimously, they're going again. It's going to be a one more time. All three judges voting that they're going to go one more time here. So we'll get to see them clean it up, try to fix all the mistakes that we saw throughout this first battle. We'll see what they're able to do with the second time around.
All right, you can see they're on the line. Steve DeVittis going to lead the way for Luke Gillespie. And both of these guys, very, very consistent drivers. Luke, new to the series. Steve, not a stranger to anybody. Steve with the E90 with the N54 power under the hood. E36 driven by Luke Gillespie, going to be M52 turbo power under the hood. Well, under what would be a hood if he had one. You can see there, Luke not quite pulling up to the line. He's totally allowed to do that. He's allowed to get a little bit of a running start here when the lights go out. Try and make up some ground there on Steve. He thinks Steve might have a slightly faster launch than him, and I'd have to say he's probably right. But we're just going to take a minute here, let the cone guys get everything reset.
Lake Erie Speedway, you guys having fun so far? Trying to turn tire back into its raw form here. If you get the opportunity ever to come to a Matt's Erie weekend, you can see the absolute massive piles of tire rubber. If you actually look in the front stretch under the little gaps in the K-rails, you can see the rubber that's getting shot through as the cars initiate. So I'm sure that there is an egregious amount of rubber on the other side of that wall, which is another factor in this. I mean, you see it laying on the ground too over by the inner clip after outside zone number 2. And I mean, we've already cleaned up a little bit, so you can see that can be treacherous as a driver as Steve DeVittis and Luke Gillespie make their way to outside zone number 1. DeVittis initiates, comes up just a little bit shallow on outside zone number 1. Luke doing a good job, surges way forward as Steve maybe just a little bit wide in outside zone number 2, filling all of it to completion. Luke hanging it out there in this battle against the Keystone Killer into outside zone number 3, nice and tight. Really, really good driving from both drivers on the front of this one.
Yeah, Steve DeVittis just looks like an absolute monster behind the wheel of the E90, and Luke Gillespie knows it coming into this first outside zone. Really good initiation there by Steve. Gets a tire into the zone, keeps it there the entire way throughout. Gets in here now to the outside zone number 2. Luke a little bit shallow. Kind of mistimes that transition, has to make up for it there towards the end of the zone. You can see just the smoke pouring out of the back of the E90. Steve, a little bit of an awkward transition there from that inner clip to that final outside zone. Ends up putting 2 tires off coming in, so that definitely will be a factor there. But Luke Gillespie definitely has a couple of mistakes there in his chase that he needs to work on moving forward.
Yeah, both of these drivers, a couple of mistakes that they could easily take advantage of against one another here. So we've got them switched around. They're down at the line now, ready to go for the second half of the battle. And we'll see what Luke is able to do out in the lead. We'll see how Steve responds to it in the chase position with that E90 BMW.
Getting that distinct drift outer zone identifier replaced in outside zone number 3 as the track clears. We'll send it back down to Brian to see Luke Gillespie now in the lead. Steve DeVittis in the chase. This is one that you're not going to want to miss because Steve has no relaxation, and he's going to throw it down from the chase here. Oh, an interesting initiation, maybe in the wrong gear from Luke. Somehow able to keep it together to send to outside zone number 2. So, unfortunately, a big mistake for Luke on initiation. as Steve just handles it like it was a buttery initiation. Stays right through it into outside zone number 3, leaving a little bit more space, knowing that he's probably got a bit of an advantage. But gotta give a round of applause to Luke Gillespie making his way into top 16 and throwing it down against the Keystone Killer, Steve DeVitis.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of an awkward initiation there by Luke, and I don't know if maybe he was in the wrong gear, he missed a gear, but man, he threw it in super early, never really got to that first outside zone. Steve, though, behind him, just cool as always, making up wherever he can, and they can come down to the final outside zone. Luke putting a tire in all the way around, but Steve just maintaining the distance, never really getting too aggressive. And you can see their quick decision from the judges. Steve DeVitis unanimously going to move on over Luke Gillespie.
If you take a look down to your left here, you got some free stuff getting thrown out.
Just to confirm once again, Steve DeVitis did indeed take the win there in a unanimous decision over Luke Gillespie.
Make some noise if you want from free stuff. Oh, so now you guys get loud, huh? Got the t-shirt cannon shooting them at you. Might want to squint a little bit with AJ at the helm. You're not sure where that thing's going to catch you.
All right, and there you go.
Little
little bit of a communications error down there. But Steve DeVitis is going to pull away with the victory. T-shirt!
Oh. T-shirt to the moon. I thought that there was maybe going to be some WWE moves going on down there. Good hustle, though.
Yeah, please don't tackle each other down the grandstands. And we know we love a free T-shirt, but man, be careful out there. T-shirt!
All right, so we're ready to see the one more time battle here between Theon Nelson and Elliott Rose. Both drivers looking to clean it up quite a bit, as that's exactly why the judges would have went one more time on this. Just want to see a better front and back battle here between both drivers.
And just for confirmation on the first half of this battle, well, not the first half of this battle, the previous battle, Theon Nelson did indeed break an axle. And I know that he put a grip kit in that car, trying to get every ounce of forward bite out of the Z that he can, and maybe just a little bit too much there.
So if you're watching from home on Flow Racing, you can head out, come take advantage of the free giveaways, make some noise for some awesome drivers. All you got to do is head towards Northeast Pennsylvania tomorrow, stop by your local Crosby's, grab yourself a free ticket, and come on out and enjoy the action with us. If you're joining us on Flow, you can expect to find us at the same time. If you're enjoying what you're watching on Flow, you can watch it, even more of it, on YouTube beforehand and catch seeding and top 32 action as we try to meet the time constraints on Flow.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's been mentioned just yet. This being a doubleheader weekend, the first layout of the weekend, definitely a little bit of a safety lap. There's really nothing too damaging that you can hit unless you find your way to a K-rail. But tomorrow, we are going to be running the big bank wall. So definitely a whole new dynamic coming into play. If you've never drifted before, I can only express to you with the level of just violence it takes to maintain a bank ride in a car at angle in drift. It's a whole new level to the playing field here. It is definitely a chess game and the bank wall is the queen.
Never easy to run up, click into third gear, and huck your hardly earned and hardly built race car up against the wall and then just slamming the throttle back down. So always a fun one to watch. I also got to say, it's not, it's
All right, so Ben's having a little bit of trouble up here right now, but we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna send it down to Darren. He is somewhere out there. We're not too sure where yet, but we're about to find out. So we're gonna send it over to him for the grid walk, and let's find out where he's at right now.
All right, we're just waiting to get a camera over there on Darren.
So just working through some technical difficulty here, got some radio issues. Need to make sure that we have good open lines of communication from our competition director, Dave Nashwinter, down to the staff on track so that there's no issues as far as somebody maybe resetting a cone and sending drivers out there, because that would not be good. So everybody who's out here in the grandstands, make some noise if it's your first time ever at a competition drifting series. Make some noise if you've ever been to a competition drifting series. All right, so some experienced fans. Let's send it back over to Darren.
All right, we're over here in grid. I know the track's a little cold right now, so we have time to fill. So we're talking here to people on grid. We already interviewed Eli, but now we have our 2025 Great Lakes Pro-Am champ, Alan Boss. Alan, it sounds like you got your hands full with the next one. What do you expect from Eli and his leads?
Yeah, based off his previous battles, he was looking pretty quick, pretty aggressive, a lot of throttle commitment and a lot of smoke. So I'm used to driving the smoke, though, so I'm not too worried about it, but I just got to be careful not to throw too much angle into the chase, otherwise they'll just walk away from me.
Now, do you have a lot of communication with your spotter back here to know when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive in a chase format like that?
Yeah, so since we're leading first, my mom will let me know how he did behind me and kind of give me an idea of what I'm going to need to do. We don't like to get too specific with how the chase run was, because we don't really have a lot of time in between the end of the lap and the start of the next one. So we have like a simple numeric system, and she lets me know what I got to do.
Perfect. All right, well, we wish you and him good luck, and we're excited to see it. So give him hell out there, brother. Back to you boys up in the booth.
A great word there from Darren with Prospect driver Alan Boss. Right in the car. He's getting ready to do battle here in just a minute. So just like that, to your television at home, this guy's going to be clenching his hands around the steering wheel with his foot trying to go down through the floorboard here in just a minute. It doesn't get much better than that.
All right, it looks like Nashwinter is making his way back up to the booth, and we should be good to send cars here in just a hot second.
While we wait on getting this all situated, wanted to give another shout out to one of our big sponsors here, Summit Racing Equipment, some of the best in the game, and it looks like we are ready to go. It's going to be Theon Nelson to lead out Elliott Rose this time around. Theon initiates in. Pretty straight line there as he gets a good amount of that first outside zone. Elliott in the chase position, finding his way right up into the pocket. Theon pushing that Z all the way around outside zone number 2, right out to the white line. But Elliott not giving him any kind of room to breathe there. Looks like a little bit of an awkward transition from Elliott there. Maybe mistimed it as Theon punched some cones out of the way. But a very nice outside zone number 3 to finish up that run with Elliott right there in the pocket.
Yeah, I really want to see this replay here, just how close Elliott was in that second outside zone. Good initiation by Theon, a little bit of a weight transfer, rips a handbrake just to get the car to angle, and taps the left foot brake to get her settled. And you can see just how quickly Elliott makes up the ground here, cuts the line just a little bit, but less than a card between the two there as they finish out that second outside zone. Really good job there on the inside clip. Theon goes a little wide, kicks some cones out, and Elliott, man, just not letting them get away. And definitely much cleaner from both sides there.
Took the words right out of my brain, let alone my mouth. It much, much cleaner what we'd expect to see from both of these drivers on the front half of this one.
Elliott going to lead the way here on the second half. Elliott straight line initiation, little handbrake pull, dips the tire into that first outside zone, and then pulls a bus length on Theon coming through the infield there. Fills all of that second outside zone, at least has a tire and all the way around. Theon cutting the line, trying to make up some ground here past that inner clip. Elliott goes a little bit deep, maybe into that final outside zone. Theon not really able to close the gap there. Makes up a little bit of ground, but doesn't ultimately get to the side of the FRS of Elliott Rose.
Yeah, so I think we saw both ends of it here on this one. I think Theon's lead was quite a bit better than Elliott's, but Elliott's chase was quite a bit better than Theon's given the horsepower discrepancy. Theon did a great job of not sacrificing too much, but you know, to stay in the game, you got to sacrifice something. So we'll see how the judges feel, get a good idea of where they weigh things out here on this one.
Yeah, one of the things that we talk about between cars like Theon's and Elliott's is the performance difference. As our judges are going to pull up the side-by-side here and take a look, you can see the difference in performance between these two cars depending on which part of the runs you look at. Theon out in the lead, putting down a really good lead line there. Elliott did struggle a little bit in the lead, putting on a very similar lead line to what he did prior before the OMT battle here. But Theon in the chase position just doesn't seem to have the power to stick it to Elliott's door there like Elliott does when he's chasing down Theon.
Yeah, and you can see there on the side-by-side replay, pretty comparable between the two. But ultimately, Theon Nelson going to get the unanimous decision. He is moving forward over Mr. Elliott Rose.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, that was the last battle of the 16, and we will make our way into the top 8 now. So chipping away at it a couple one more times. Good battles, bad battles. Want to see a little bit more from the drivers have led us to this point. So working our way through it. We want to see the best win, and these drivers leave their best on the track. So we'll get into the grade 8 as we take a look at the bracket.
All right, so it looks like your top 8 here are going to be Alan Boss, Eli Lucier, Mo Alderman, Eric Kananowicz, and then Theon Nelson, Liam Stanford, Josh Leatherborough, and Steve DeVitis to round out the top 8 there. So pretty much everyone in there certified assassins.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and throw it down to our wonderful man in the pits. Let's go check in on Darren. Let's see what he's got going on.
All right, so we're here at our Great Lakes Grid Talk. We're here with no other than Josh Leatherborough. Josh absolutely killed it in his top 32 battle. Josh, who are you going against, and what do you expect from them?
I'm going against Steven Davidis in a M54 powered E92, which is almost the same car as this. So I'm expecting to do well. I'm hoping to win, and just going to go out there and have some fun.
Having fun is the main goal here, right? But we do know that Steve does a lot of time on the sim, and he's been putting down some killer leads. All right, so in your chase, are you expecting to be within a certain amount of proximity, or what do you expect?
Oh, my plan is just to door him.
Nothing better than that, brother. But hey, good luck. We wish you luck out there. Can't wait to see how your run goes. Back up to you boys in the booth.
So we're about ready to get into top 8 action. Alan Boss and Eli Lucier as we saw an absolutely electric battle between Eli and Jimmy Oakes in top 16. So Eli going to look to continue on to that. Allen shaking it off a little bit in his top 16 battle. Now going to try to dial it in here. As I said before, Eli has looked dialed all day. So, I mean, Allen's got his hands full here. It's certainly not going to be an easy task for either driver in this one. But so again, you know, two homies battling it out, having a good time. Alan Boss from Oak Harbor, Ohio. Eli Lucier from, I couldn't read it in time, sorry.
Eli coming from Laconia, New Hampshire.
So Alan Boss out front here first, going to initiate into outside zone number 1. Eli very calculated from the chase position. Oh, Eli ends up way inside on outside zone number 2 as Allen trying to erase the zone. Does a great job of getting to the inner clip. They nearly rub bumpers on transition. And Allen just throwing a little bit of gap to Eli here. Kind of surprised after the way that Eli drove in 16.
I mean, I am absolutely stoked to see this. This is a level of confidence out of Eli in that car that I have not seen yet. And he is just driving a man-possessed. You can see there that transition from outer 1 across the infield there to outer 2. Eli just kind of gets a little bit inside, but he ends up catching up and being right on line there towards the end of that second outside zone, past that inner clip. And Alan Boss just, I mean, leaving a plume of smoke behind him everywhere. That's kind of one of the crazy things about this layout is, man, if you figure out the line and you get it dialed in, you can just stand on it and bury the chase driver in smoke everywhere.
Yeah, one of the things that I liked about Allen's lead run there was the way that he initiated. One of the few times so far in the 16 that we've seen somebody actually get majority of that zone. Granted, he did drop a tire there for a little bit, but that's all right. Now we've got Eli out in front to lead Alan Boss. We'll see if he's a little bit more comfortable like he was against Mr. Oakes earlier here. So he goes and initiates in, and again, a nice big little flick initiation in there. Picks up all that outside zone. Alan Boss on a little bit of an inside line, barely avoids contact there. And now Eli just running away through outside zone number 2, painting the white line with those rear tires. Now through the smoke, Alan Boss nowhere to be found as Eli putting on a beautiful lead run out there. Lake Erie Speedway makes some noise for these guys.
Yeah, I really want to see this replay here. Eli Lucier leading the way. Little bit of a weight transfer there. Dab of brakes just to get the car settled. And then all the angle through that first outside zone. Gets into the second outside zone nice and early, but ends up driving out of it a little bit. Finds his way back in there right at the very end. Allen falling back just a little bit. And you can see just how much speed that vet has whenever Eli really puts the pedal down. Just pouring smoke out of the back, ends up running away from Allen there at the end of the run.
So receiving word that the concession stands will be closing at 9:30. It's currently 9:21. So if you're hungry, make sure that you stop by, grab a drink, grab some food, anything that you might need real quick while we just have 1 minute of downtime here. We're rolling right through the grade 8, so you don't want to take long, but I don't want you guys to miss the opportunity before everything gets closed up. As the judges still deliberating on this one between Alan Boss and Eli.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on here with the judging, and there it is. The decision is in. Eli Lucier unanimously taking out prospect driver Alan Boss, and he will be advancing on.
And I know Eli is just losing his mind. He has put his entire offseason into building that car and making it look good, and every single little detail on it is his. And now that it's performing the way that he wants it to, I can only imagine how ecstatic he has to be behind the wheel of that thing.
Yeah, it's tough to replace confidence in drifting. Like I was mentioning earlier, driving's only one part of it. The mental is maybe even the bigger part of it. So, Eli's locked in. He's feeling the car. He's feeling the layout, the whole 9 yards, and he's showing it out here. Our next battle in the grade 8, getting ready to come out here and warm up their tires. Theon Nelson and Liam Stanford in that Slip Club BMW. Maybe the best car, the best sounding car on grid. With that Dart 427 under the hood, it sounds healthy.
Yeah, and I have to imagine Theon is excited as well, coming off of a podium finish in round 1, making his way into grade 8 here, and I know that he's looking to move forward. One of the most soft-spoken individuals here today, but man, when he gets behind the wheel, he is a different species. Liam also, that's another one too that he spent his entire offseason putting this car together, and he had a little bit of issues, a little bit of teething pains there, but looks like he's got it sorted out because, man, he has been driving fantastic all day.
Theon Nelson in the lead position, initiates into outside zone number 1. Liam falls a step behind on the run-up, now plays catch-up into outside zone number 2. Unfortunately, going to straighten here at the beginning. It's going to set him up even more shallow, heading towards the inner clip as Theon doing everything that he needs to do so far. Outside zone number 3, Theon just a little bit shallow on the angle throughout the run, but Liam, just that disadvantage from the start just kind of set him back.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay here. Theon Nelson leading the way, pulls up maybe a 2-3 car gap there on initiation. Straight line, handbrake, a little bit of left foot brake just to keep the car going in the direction he needs it to be. Makes his way into that second outside zone, puts a tire on the line almost all the way around it. And Liam, I mean, man, he's got to be a car and a half inside of the zone there, not quite getting to where he needs to be. Theon drops a tire coming into that final outside zone, punts some cones out of the way, and Liam never really gets back in the picture from initiation. So, I mean, he's definitely got something to prove here coming into his lead run, and Theon's got everything to lose coming into the chase.
Yeah, when it comes down to it there, watching Liam in the chase position, just a couple of times where he completely ended up straightening behind Theon, maybe unable to rein that car in behind him. But now he's going to be out front, so it's going to be Liam to lead out Theon. See what he's able to do in the clean air as he initiates in. Very nice through outside zone number 1. Theon present throughout it. Now transitioning through to outside zone number 2. Theon still there in the pocket. Falling back a little bit there, Liam making all of that outside zone work, absolutely painting the outside white line. And then he picks up that inside clip. Now Theon trying to surge back up on the door there. Not quite going to get it. Liam across the line with a very nice finish to that run through outside zone number 3.
Take a look at the replay here on Flow. Theon super aggressive on initiation in that chase position. Does a great job maintaining the proximity here, given what the difference is here. He's a little bit shallow on line and angle, but trying to make that turbo VQ go to work against this Dart 427. So really good run from both drivers. As we await the decision, we're moving right along. Decision comes in. Theon Nelson unanimously taking down Liam Stanford. So up next we got Steve DeVittis in the lead, the Keystone Killer in that black BMW up against Josh Leatherborough. We just heard from Leatherborough on his feelings about this battle with Darren.
Yeah, Leatherborough said very similar chassis, slightly different power plants. We'll see what happens here as Steve leads the way. The lights have extinguished. They pull away from the line. Steve DeVittis, big flick initiation there. Doesn't quite get into the zone. Maybe dips a tire. Leatherborough right there on him, though, all the way through. Both of them maybe going to tire off. Leatherborough punts one of the barrels out of the way. A little bit less angle, but he's trying to get to the door of the E90 all the way through that second outside zone. Steve right on line where he needs to be. Bit of an awkward transition by Leatherborough from outside through that inner clip. I lost my words there. I apologize.
I think that Ben might be rubbing off on you a little bit with that one. As we watch back on the replay here, Steve out in the lead, Josh in the chase position there. This transition through to outside zone number 2, you just see Josh punting that distinct barrel right out of the way. He said, get that thing out of the driveway. Steve, though, wrapping it around that inside clip. Very good placement in that black BMW. And then right here, Josh Leatherborough in the chase, having to play a little bit of catch-up, get back up on the door as they go across that line.
Yeah, so I'd have to imagine the spotter in Steve's ear Tell him you might have a little bit to play with, but I definitely wouldn't let him get away here, as Leatherboro going to lead the way on the second half of this battle.
Resetting these last couple of cones here. Got to get the distinct drift outside zone number 2 barrel back in place. We're getting close, getting some help from the media, which, if I might say, that barrel almost took the media guy out. So thanks for sticking it out there, brother. Yeah, Theon has just been absolutely determined so far this year. I mean, putting in all the work on the sim. I've seen in the last couple weeks he's organizing some virtual sim comps on Assetto Corsa now. So went through the winter not giving up on the backside during the season here, trying to get all the seat time he can, whether it be real or virtual, as the track staff clear. I believe that we are ready to see the second half. Oh, yeah, one more guy. Getting a little excited here. But can you blame me?
Just want to confirm for everybody who is watching along at home, Ben is standing now. So he is out of the chair. He's excited. He's ready to go. He wants to see these guys throw down the second half of this battle, and he is ecstatic up here.
All right, it looks like all the track staff out of the way. Just waiting for the go-ahead here to send cars as the smoke clears out off the track. All right, it looks like we're getting the thumbs up from Brian Reichert down there. The lights are on, and they will be extinguished. Leatherboro going to lead the way now for Steve DeVitis. Straight line initiation from Leatherboro fills all of that first outside zone. Steve punting a couple of cones there out of the back of that first zone. Now as they make their way to the second outside zone, Leatherboro pulling a little bit of a gap, but Steve maybe just playing it a little bit cautious there and Chase. They make their way through the inner clip now to that final outside zone. Leatherboro, I mean, absolutely phenomenal lead line. Steve DeVitis doing a fantastic job there, and Chase never really on the door of Leatherboro, though, so interesting to see here.
Yeah, Steve throws caution to the wind here in the chase for the most part. Drops a couple tires on outside zone number 1 as Leatherboro does a nice job. Leaves outside zone number 2 just a little bit early, which pushes him wide on the inner clip. And then just shy on outside zone number 3 for Leatherboro in the lead. So the Keystone Killer leaving it up to his name here as he absolutely crushes it and is going to unanimously take down Josh Leatherboro here in the round of 8.
All right, then you can see there on the live stream, Eric Kananowick's going to chase Mo Alderman. Mo going to lead the way, 2JZ power under the hood of the S14. And I can only assume this is going to be one for the ages here. Both of these guys super consistent, super aggressive.
Everything's set. We get John back over to the restart flag in case anybody hits a cone, and we'll be ready for more action. Both of these guys leave it all on the track every time that they get behind the wheel. So this is going to be a fun one here as the lights go on, lights go out. Mo Alderman in the lead, Eric Kananowitz in the chase. Both drivers initiate into outside zone number 1. Eric right there in transition, surges forward to the door. Oh, he's trying to put tire onto the side of that S chassis of Mo Alderman at the inner clip. Good transition for both drivers. Ricky just falls out just a little bit going into outside zone number 3, but an absolutely killer drive from both guys on the front half of this one.
Yeah, Mo Alderman really choosing to use every single degree of angle that S chassis had there on initiation. Choosing to take the little bit of the reverse entry route there. The replay here starting up into outside zone number 2. They come across. You can see they're less than a car between the two, but Kananowicz doesn't time that transition perfectly. Ends up just a little bit behind as Mo Alderman doesn't quite get to that final outside zone. So a couple of mistakes by both guys here, but ultimately a very exciting battle.
Yeah, if I was Eric Spotter, I would definitely be in his ear right now, letting him know that Mo missed all of that last outside zone there. Definitely a place to position your car and make sure that you get all the points there. As here we go, Eric out in the lead now. Mo going to chase him down this time. Initiates in. Oh, tapping the wall with the back end of the Mustang, but he is going to keep it going, and Mo right there in the pocket. Not afraid. He's going to try to get the best chase run he can as they do come up into a little bit of smoke through outside zone number 2 here. That might blind them a little bit. But it looks like they're going to navigate it all right. And there is Mo right back in the pocket as they transition through an outside zone number 3.
Nanowick's getting a little bit too aggressive there on initiation. Takes a taillight out, pulls the bumper off the back of the Mustang. Take a look here on the replay. You can see, oh man, that was actually a much harder hit than it looked like up here. Luckily for Kananowick's there, the back of that car is made out of paper mache, so didn't really slow him down too much. Mo Alderman trying to make his way back up to the door of the Mustang here as they come out of that second outside zone. Good job there by Kananowick's in the lead, getting into that inner clip, but times that transition pretty poorly, doesn't get to that last outside zone. So other than that little hit from Kananowick's on initiation there, pretty comparable runs between the two. Both of them doing a really good job in chase. Just really eager to see how this all pans out. And it looks like Mo Alderman unanimously going to take the win over Eric Kananowick's. Maybe that little wall punch there on initiation doing some damage there for him. But ultimately, Mo going to take it, and he does deserve it. Fantastic job on both sides of the flag there.
Kananowick's going to put on a tire smoke show here in the backstretch for you as he heads off track. Get a little bit of a second here for the smoke to clear. We're gonna take a quick break here real quick if you want to run to the restroom. And when we get back, we're going to be into top 4 action. Before you know it, we'll be crowning a winner of round number 2 of the Crosby's Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Summit Racing Equipment.
Yeah, it should be noted as well. Keep in mind while you're watching this, guys, these dudes have to have these cars back together for tomorrow. So little hits like that don't seem like much, but Eric Kananowick's going to have to go back and jam a little bit on the Mustang, get her set up, ready to go for tomorrow morning.
All right, and while we take this quick little break here from the action, we're going to send it back down to Darren, who I believe is now, yeah, he's right down here in front of us. What's going on, Darren? Yeah, there he is. We're gonna throw it down to Darren. He's going to catch up with you guys, this time in the grandstands.
Brother, we are live in the grandstands. We got a family here of 4. How are you guys doing? Give me some 5. Give me some skin. Is this your guys' first time at Lake Erie Speedway?
Yep.
How are you liking it so far?
It's really fun.
Okay, have you ever experienced drifting before?
No, I have not.
Okay. How about you, sir?
No, actually, no.
All right, so what are you used to? Like circle track racing or like drag racing or just any motorsports in general?
Any motorsports.
Okay, how long do you think it's going to take until you get your own drift car?
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, so what, maybe 3 or 4 weeks? You got to mow a few more lawns. They're expensive. All right, so we'll see you out here at next round 3s tomorrow. So round 4 you'll be out here driving?
Maybe, I don't know yet.
Right, well, we got supporters. Look at all these people in the crowd. Give it up. We got a new driver coming up. Back up to you boys in the booth.
Well, actually, Darren, we're gonna keep it with you right now.
Oh, come on. You want me to keep talking to these lovely fans?
Oh, come on. You know you love the fans just as much as we do up here.
Well, I'm going to interview myself. I'm a fan.
You are a fan. You're right.
Where are you boys from?
Wattsburg.
Anybody know where Wattsburg is? That's a whole lot of nothing, brother. What's near that? Oh, God. Okay. Where are you from, brother?
Wattsburg.
Okay, we're 0 for 2. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so how you guys liking drifting so far?
I love drifting.
Really? Do you do any drifting video games at all at home?
Yeah, but I don't have any sim setups yet.
Well, you know, Christmas is only a few months away, brother. You on the good list?
Yeah.
That's what they all say. Don't
Liar.
believe them all. How about you? You going to be drifting this year or what?
No.
You play any drifting games?
Yeah.
Well, one.
Xbox. What? I'm not 100% sure.
All right, we'll stick with CarX is a good one. Download that one as soon as you go. That's a good one, all right? Who else is here for the first time? Okay, we're coming down there, brother. Who's here? Okay, you here from Texas? Where are you from, though?
Canning.
What?
Canning.
Pennsylvania. Okay, so is that local to here?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's not that far. This is a nice little haul. You know, is this? You guys come to Lake Erie often?
Once a summer.
Okay. How do you like drifting so far? Loud. Loud, right? This sounds like a Thanksgiving dinner going on, right? You guys just arguing back and forth? All right. Is this your first time at the racetrack?
Yeah.
How are you liking it so far?
Good.
Woman of many words. Many words. All right. Let's see. Who else we got in the crowd? Where are you going? I like your tie-dye shirt, brother. What size is that? Is that my size? I'm not a small dude, brother. We're coming down to you. You call us out. We're coming down. Is this your dad right here? Uh-oh. Dad? You got some trouble over here. How you doing, brother? I'm good, man. I'm good. How you liking Lake Erie Speedway so far?
Good. We've been here before.
Okay, so are you familiar with drifting?
No, this is our first time.
Okay. How do you like drifting, little dude?
Really cool. I've wanted to come here for a while to see cars drift.
Heck yeah, dude. You have a favorite car or what?
I like the white Corvette.
Ooh, he's talking about Eli Lucier. Eli, if you're in the pits and you heard that live, you got fans rooting for you tonight, brother. Give a big round of applause for Eli. He's been killing it tonight. All right, anybody else we got to talk to? Let's see. Oh, that lady looked away from me immediately. Sir, we know you're from Texas. I mean, you can't wear a high-vis shirt in the stands and not stand out. We're coming over there, brother. I feel terrible for the cameraman. Media's giving it all they got. I'm sweating my butt off walking around over here. You got army pants on, man. Were you in the military? Oh, sick, dude. Love that. What branch?
Army.
When you going basic?
Ship off in November.
Ooh. Give it up for our soon-to-be service member. Give a big old round of applause to the people providing that freedom blanket for us to be out here and enjoy this awesome sport. Big round of applause. So, do you have an MOS yet or what?
68 Whiskey Combat.
Ooh, I know about combat medics. So, if you don't know, I was in the military. Anthony, our cameraman, wonderful person, he was in the military. So we have a big old appreciation for that. So thank you very much, man. Good luck in basic. We appreciate you. Let's see. I think that about wraps it up, man. We're going to cut back up to the booth, man. You guys got enough of that AC, or can we have some? Sweating my butt off out here. Holy cannoli. Might want to start climbing these stairs now, brother.
All right. Well, we appreciate all the insight from you and the fans down there. Definitely a big thank you to all the servicemen and women out there in the world. We would not be here if it wasn't for them, especially, our veterans, our active service members, and even our soon-to-be service members. So whether you're in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, you name it, thank you so much for everything that you guys and gals do out there, and we would not be here without you.
All right, in case you haven't yet, if you're in the stands or if you're at home watching, take a look over at Lake Erie Speedway on all social medias. Take a look at LakeErieSpeedway.com for all upcoming events. Like we talked about earlier, we have these events called Matt Series. If you haven't heard of them, look them up. They're insane. We're talking like 180 cars on the property at any given time, drifting from, 10 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. every day. This one coming up is a super special one. We're going to paint the track with all kinds of UV active paints. All the cars are going to have crazy lights all over them. We're going to shut down the track lights and flood it with UV light. It's called Neon. It's crazy. It's kind of the brainchild of the track manager, AJ Moore. We tried it last year, and it was amazing. This year, it's going to be bigger and badder, so come out if you haven't. Come find us. Me and Ben are going to be there driving along with the whole team. Feel free to ask for a ride along, and I'll be more than happy to take you. I'm sure Ben would as well.
Absolutely. I can't say that there's much more that I love to do than drive my drift car. So I'd be glad to take anybody on a ride that wants to come out. You've seen me traversing around the speedway, I'm sure. If you haven't put my voice with my face yet, make sure when we get down to crowning the podium down here, we'll all be down on track. So if it sounds like you want to go for a ride, all you got to do is show up to a drift event, find me, and I'd be glad to take you for a spin. So really appreciate everybody joining us here this evening. I hope that you guys come back out again tomorrow, as tomorrow, if you haven't grasped the concept of it just yet, tomorrow's layout is going to be a big bank layout. We're going to start in the backstretch, probably just forward of the yellow space there by the on-track chute, and we're going to run up, right up against the wall there. You can actually see on the track a little bit if you look closely, the old zones that were up there. So you got to ride the wall all the way around, and then we're going to come down off the bank into the infield. It's going to be really awesome. It's going to be really high speed, and really to be able to drive a layout like that, you really have to be in one with your car and everything. So it takes a lot to, as I was talking about earlier, want to row 1, 2, 3 gears and then chuck your hard-earned money and time that you've put into your race car up against the wall like that with a level of commitment to want to win around. So really looking forward to tomorrow. If you're joining us on Flow Racing, again, you can find us at the same time for Top 16 action at 8 p.m. If you want to join us before that, we'll be live on YouTube and Facebook. YouTube at Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. As Zach had just mentioned, make sure that you go over to Facebook specifically at Lake Erie Speedway for all the updates of schedules, when the next rounds are, when the next grassroots events are, everything you ever need on Facebook at Lake Erie Speedway. Again, on YouTube at Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And make sure that you go give a follow to our awesome production team, Propped Productions, for putting together an awesome stream all day long and providing everybody at home on Flow Racing a beautiful view of the activities. So we're in to the top 4. Who do we got, guys?
This is going to be Mo Alderman and Eli Lucier, quickly becoming a favorite here tonight from everyone talking around the stands and on various streams throughout the day. Eli, I mean, just driving absolutely incredible today. Mo Alderman, solid as a rock, as always. I'd have to assume now Eli has all the confidence in the world to put in an absolutely insane chase, as Mo Alderman going to lead him off the line here. Weight transfer initiation there from Mo Alderman in the lead. Really good angle from both guys. Huge lunge there by Eli Lucier, but he pulls back, reins her in, gets where he needs to be. Mo just absolutely sticking it to the outside of that zone. Eli right on the door of the S chassis all the way through. Another big lunge there by Eli coming into this final outside zone. Mo Alderman, absolutely phenomenal lead line, and Eli taking every advantage of it all the way around.
Yeah, Eli does not want to go home 4th place tonight. He wants to be on the top of this box. He's shown it all day long. Mo doing what Mo does here, throwing down an awesome lead run. Can't have a good chase without a good lead. So hats off to both of these guys here. Eli just had to cut just a little bit in a couple spots, but really aggressive driving, trying to take this decision out of the judges' hands and send himself into the finals here this evening.
Yeah, Eli, the talk of the grandstands, and earlier today, the talk of the YouTube channel chat over there on that live stream as well. Gaining a lot of fans tonight here. When he went up against Jimmy, showing all kinds of consistency there. He's been carrying it throughout the night. He doesn't want to go home without getting on that box, and he wants to take it all the way to the top. Right here, right now, he's getting ready to throw down with Mo to find out who's going to get the chance to go all the way and who's going to be rendered to either 3rd or 4th place.
All right, looks like we're getting some cones reset here in outside zone number 2 before we send these guys in the second half of the battle. And I got to say, man, as a competitive level driver, I feel like the waiting's the hardest part of this. Having to wait wait, and then all of a sudden it's just 1, 2, 3, and we go. But I mean, they did it to themselves, right? They're the ones who sent the cones up the bank.
As we almost have the track staff cleared. Everybody, let these two drivers hear you down there sitting in their cars. Let them know that they're putting on an awesome show for you. Make some noise for Eli Lucier and Mo Alderman. Absolutely awesome that we get this kind of talent in our own backyard here as Eli initiates with the sauce into outside zone number 1, lays the heavy pedal straight to the floor, all the angle that the C5 has to offer into outside zone number 2. He is not wanting to go home with a 4th place or anything less than the top of the box as he absolutely throws the gap at Mo Alderman.
Man, Eli Lucier looking just red hot. That is absolutely insane. Next level confidence. You can see here on the replay, puts all the angle right against the wall, all of that first outside zone. Mo Alderman getting left behind here. Once again, just sticking it to angle, not even a little bit of correction there from Eli all the way through that second outside zone. Gets both tires into that inner zone, and then really, really nice transition and just lays it on. Pouring smoke out of the back of the vet all the way through that final outside zone.
Eli definitely excited out there, and I can't imagine that he's not going to get even more excited as the judges have ruled in favor. Eli will be going on to the final over Mo Alderman. Eli is going to the final battle. He's pumped. You can see it on the camera there, or if you're here in the building, he's got the arm out the window pumping. He is so ready for this finals battle. He's been working all night for it. But right now, as we move on over to the other side of the bracket, it's going to be Theon Nelson to take on Steve, the robot, the Keystone Killer, Davidis.
We're going to find out who's going to be battling for all the marbles and $5,000 to win here this evening from the Crosby's Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Summit Racing Equipment. Theon Nelson in the lead, Steve Davidis in the chase. Nelson initiates, leaves outside zone 1, right on cue. Steve lunges towards the door into outside zone number 2, getting nice, close, and personal on the way in. Theon's able to pull away just a little bit through the zone, maybe just a little bit wide on the inner clip, and Steve surges back forward into outside zone number 3. That's how it's done there, both ends of it. Killer lead, killer chase.
Yeah, take a look at the replay here. Theon, once again, a little bit of a weight transfer there, just pops the brakes to get the car settled and initiates, fills all of outside zone number 1. Steve Davidis getting right to the side of the 370Z all the way through outside zone number 2. Theon maybe even pulling away just a little bit, but has to brake check and ends up giving Steve a little bit of ground back there as they come through that inner zone. Really, really nice transition from Theon, gets right into that final outside zone, and Steve perfectly on line behind him. And I'm telling you, man, he's so consistent. And Theon is just driving possessed tonight. Cannot say enough good things about these guys.
Theon Nelson coming off of a second-place finish at round 1 here at the Great Lakes Pro-Am. He's looking to go back to the podium. He's looking to take it all the way to the top as Steve Davidis leads him out. Theon initiates in right in the pocket alongside of him. Looks like a little bit of an early transition there for Theon as Steve manages to finesse that car all the way out into outside zone number 2. Theon on a very shallow angled line right now in the chase, trying to keep up the proximity to Steve. He's going to surge right back up onto the door into outside zone number 3, but Steve out in the lead. What a great lead run right now.
Make some noise, guys. Make some noise. Cheering is free, too. Woo!
I mean, what a battle there between the two. Steve Davidis, so consistent everywhere. Theon just on a mission tonight behind the wheel of the Z.
So, Theon driving just like Eli here. Laying it all out on the line here. can see really going for it. We've seen him have a bit of disadvantage so far in the chase position tonight. He was not going to have that. Does not want to leave it in the judges' hands. There were certainly some compromises made, but so Eli, Theon, I mean, everybody that comes out is going to completely hang it out there. But, I mean, you can really tell in these last two battles that things have gotten really crazy behind the wheel for these guys. As $5,000 on the line, everybody that we're watching battle is going to walk away with some form of money. But what could be better than $5,000 and a big chunk into the way of fighting for that number one spot?
All right, still waiting on judges' deliberation here. And the decision is in. Steve DeVitt is going to take the win unanimously over Theon Nelson.
All right, and one of the things that we've been talking about, the points championship, definitely going to be a little bit of a shakeup, as currently coming into this round, Troy Manners was leading the points. He went out pretty early today. Theon Nelson followed him up in second, and you just saw Theon get taken out there in the final four. So definitely going to get a bit of a points jump on Troy. We'll have to see how the points round out at the end of this event tonight. And we've still got a whole day of competition tomorrow.
Just trying to settle the dust to see if we're battling for the third finishing position. If so, we would go to that battle first before we go to the final. As Brandon mentioned there, some serious implications to the season point standings, which is why I started the broadcast off by talking about that this weekend the hay can really be made, because you got these two rounds and then just one more. So it can either make or break you here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the doubleheader weekend is paramount here. And everyone on the property going to be back tomorrow, I would assume, minus maybe Cody Logan having 2 fires in one day. Seems like a maybe more than a single night fix, but we're going to do the battle here for third and fourth place. It's going to be Mo Alderman and Theon Nelson. Probably give Theon a couple minutes there to go back, maybe change some tires, get the car cooled down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and while we wait, here in the grandstands, I just want to direct your attention right below the flag stand there on the front stretch. You can see those blue boxes sitting out there. Whenever we have a winner decided for both the third place battle and the finals, that right there is where our podium ceremony is going to take place. So even after the action, if you want to stick around and congratulate whoever's on those boxes, we're going to bring all the drivers down there, out of the top three, of course. And that's where we're going to do that podium ceremony and talk about your winners.
And once again, just want to reiterate, Great Lakes Pro-Am Series powered by Summit Racing, title sponsor Crosby's. And like we've said multiple times tonight, we're going to keep saying it repeatedly. If you're here tonight and you would like to come back tomorrow, head down to your local Crosby's, get yourself a free ticket, or tickets are always for sale at the gate on the way in if you're not so lucky to find a free one out in the wild. Tomorrow's layout definitely going to be a showstopper. I mean, this layout, kind of all outside zones. It's real floaty. It's real flowy. And everything's very wide open throttle. It's really, really well set up for tandem. Tomorrow, we're going to be running the bank. And if you've never had to experience that, it's a whole different animal. You're talking about as fast as your car can go, everything it's got for wheel speed, all the grip that you can possibly muster without destroying driveline components. And then you come off the bank, you're going to shoot into the infield to a really tight section. Everything's going to get real sketchy real quick.
Okay, so just a small correction here. We're just getting ready to set up the final battle. The third place finish going to be settled based on so by position, third place is settled, which we'll get there in just a moment. Who's ready to see some finals battle action here in Northeast PA, Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste, round number 2, the Crosby's Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Summit Racing Equipment. It's going to be a good one. The Keystone Killer, Steven DeVittis, up against the Traveler in the Eli Lucier. As you know, we speculated watching practice this morning, we knew that Eli was feeling it, but I don't know that we could have ever imagined that he'd drive like the possessed animal that he is here tonight.
Yeah, it is crazy to see Eli with just driving with this much confidence and the way that he's handling the car tonight. I can only expect that tomorrow, I hope it comes back, man, because having a back-to-back Eli like this would be absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to say, you know, kind of followed the whole build throughout the winter and was kind of helping him out on some questions here and there because obviously we run tech up here as well and just what he needed to do. And if you get a chance to take a look at these cars, I implore you to go over there, take a look around because, I mean, these guys, call it a race program if you want, but these are dudes building their own cars in their garage with their tools and just putting their own skills on display and then coming out here. And every time that you drive one of these cars, I mean, you're putting somewhere in the realm of like $30,000 to $200,000 on the line in parts and labor. And if you value your time, what that's worth to you. And just, I mean, huge shout out to these guys as they come out on track. Eli and Steve DeVittis.
Make some noise if you think Steven, the Keystone Killer DeVittis, is going to take home the number 1 spot. Pretty quiet, pretty quiet. Now let's make some noise if you think Eli Lucier is going to take home the win tonight. The crowd has spoken. And I guess all things considered, they really have all day via chat and here in the stands. I think Eli's going to go home either $5,000 richer or with a lot more fans here after round 2.
All right, we've been here since this morning, and it all comes down to this. This is your final battle. Eli Lucier going to lead the way for Steve DeVittis. Both of these guys performing phenomenally from practice all the way through to now your final 2. Eli coming out of the gate. In practice, he was a favorite amongst the staff. Everyone was talking about how good he looked. Steve DeVittis never looks bad. Just going to rack him up here, get everyone lined up and signed up. Looks like we're maybe going to flip him around. Steve DeVittis going to lead the way.
We get them stacked the proper way. We've had a couple of troubles with that here this evening. But we're going to settle it up here as Brian Reichert, our starter, sets Steve DeVittis from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, up against Eli Lucier in the Laconia, New Hampshire native in his C5 Corvette. Everything should be clear. So we're waiting on media to clear the track.
You know who you are.
Media clears, and it's time to get to the action. The Keystone Killer in the lead, Eli Lucier, has been on an absolute tear here in round number 2. It's time to settle it. Davidis initiates. Lucier absolutely hucks it in the chase position into outside zone number 1. Steve not missing a beat here into outside zone number 2, repainting that outside zone. Neither of these drivers want to leave anything on the line as Eli surges forward in transition into outside zone number 3. Steve, absolutely phenomenal lead run.
Eli Lucia there in chase, not letting Steve get an inch on him anywhere, making up some ground there towards the end of the lap. As we take a look here at the replay, good initiation by both drivers. Steve gets into that first outside zone a little bit late. Good transition here. Eli shoots through the infield trying to make up some ground there, and he does within a car there of Steve all the way through that second outside zone. Steve maybe even a little bit inside on that inner clip. Eli, though, jumps right back to the door of that E90 as they come through the final outside zone. And I really want to see this half of it because, man, Eli has been so fast in the lead all day.
Eli's been on an absolute tear. He wants the win, but so does Steve Davidis. They're getting ready to go for the second half of the battle here. They just had to get a couple of cones off of the track, but they are ready. Everybody, this may be the final time that we send drivers tonight. Make some noise for these guys as they leave that starting grid. Eli to leave out Steve Davidis. Here we go for the last time. Initiates in on the wall, filling all of outside zone number 1. Is Eli. Steve Davidis trying to surge back up on that door, get back in the pocket, but Eli absolutely running away from him through outside zone number 2 as he picks up that inside clip. Steve Davidis needs to surge back up on him, and he's not going to be able to do it. Eli just steamrolls across that finish line.
Eli Lucier just on rails, ladies and gentlemen. And, man, it is so fast. I don't think I've ever seen in the history of watching driving here at Lake Erie that Steve Davidis has just gotten ran away from like that ever.
No, and I mean, Eli just right over the shoulder all day long and get to angle, plant that thing back to the floor, sing it on that limiter, and never look back. Hats off to both of these drivers. We'll bring all 3 of these drivers down to the front stretch here on the box. You're not going to want to go anywhere just yet because there is going to be some massive celebration burnouts here that you won't want to miss. But we're going to bring the top 3 finishers up to the front stretch, and we'll join you guys right down on the front stretch. If everybody could for me, kind of come towards the center of the grandstands here, down in front of the press box. You know, if you want to stand up along the bottom, that's fine too, but just kind of pack everybody in so that, you know, once we get to making a decision here, we can get the hype train rolling for everybody. So we'll be right down the track in just a second.
All right, Lake Erie Speedway. How we feeling after that? What a show for these drivers, huh? All right, Lake Erie, so now we're down here on the finish line. We are going to go over who first, second, and third is. In third place, Theon Nelson. And the moment you have all been waiting for. The winner of round 2 at our Great Lakes Pro-Am Series is none other than Eli Lucier. Give a big round of applause for Eli. Leaving second place to Steve Davidis.
So we're going to take some pictures. We'll have a couple of interviews real quick. But for everybody that joined us here at the Speedway, can't thank you enough. Like I said, you're not going to want to head anywhere until all these pictures get done and they do these pictures on the podium, because you're going to see probably the rowdiest burnouts you've ever seen. This ain't your cousin burning down the 1500 in the parking lot, all right?
What do you think's going to do the better burnout, though? I don't know, dude. So check it out. Brother, you killed it this weekend, brother. Congrats. How does it feel to finally get your first win in Pro-Am, brother?
Oh, man, it feels really good. Car did awesome all weekend. My crew did such a great job. Got a lot of support from home, too. So all my partners, my shop, Fuel Lab, Distinct Drift, Getty Graphics, Vibrant, Weld Wheels, Cybertron, Truck Trends. Holy crap, there's so many. I can't, I've had so much support this year.
I know from following you on your social media pages, how hard does this hit emotionally seeing this livery? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you had this livery as a kid on a go-kart, correct?
Yeah, so this was my kart livery from when I was a kid, kind of. So it's definitely special.
I bet, man, but I'm so happy for you. $5,000, Richard. Give it up for Eli Lucier. Steve, second place. That's pretty good, man. How is it? How in totality? How do you think the weekend went for you?
Oh, it was great. Like all the battles were great. All my laps, like every lap was good. So it was awesome.
Was it hard to chase Eli? He was on rails all weekend long.
That's the fastest car I've ever driven with. Like, I don't know what he's got going on, but some special sauce. So.
Well, I know his spotter Mike P. So if you DM me, maybe we can, do a little backdoor data, and I'll shoot it over to you. All right? Give it up for Steve Davis. Dude, second podium in a row, brother. How does that feel?
It feels pretty unreal. Because every round I've been competing in, I don't go in with the expectations that I'm going to win anything. I'm just trying to go for fun, and that's about it.
Now, I know from hearing from staff members and through the radio that what round was it? You broke an axle, right?
It was today.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. What battle number? 8, 16, what one was it?
It was one of them. I don't know, but thanks Cody and Eric, and I think somebody else assisted as well. They replaced my axle within like 2.5 minutes. And what's really funny is the axle that we put on here is actually broken. Like the boot is just destroyed. There's like no grease in there. So the fact that it's holding up is actually astonishing.
Dude, that is a testament to you as a driver. You give it all every time you're out on the track. And I can tell you, I am so excited to see how well you're going to burn it down tonight.
Well, I'm not going to burn it down tonight. I got to be nice. One thing I will say, I know I suck, but hear me out though. So after that burnout, I drained my oil, and I seen a lot of glitter in there. But I guess one of them was bronze because I got third place today. So.
Absolutely, man. We are so happy for you, Theon. Congratulations on your third place, second podium in a row. Give it up for your top three this evening. Head on over to the podium, boys. All right, show of hands in the crowd. Who's coming back tomorrow? 1, 2, 12, 16. All right, go to your Crosby's, pick up your free tickets, come back tomorrow, and see if these three are going to podium again. Brother, that's coming. Patience is a virtue. Okay, so just a quick random question. I know it's not going to be zero. After watching, how many people are on Facebook Marketplace trying to look for a drift car right now? There's one. Real fan. 2, 3. Yep. All right. Okay. See? That's how you got to. Almost don't count unless it's horseshoes and hand grenades. All right, show of, I guess, a vote by volume. Who do you think is going to do the bigger burnout? Or do you think it's going to be Eli? How about Steve DeVittis? You think he's going to win the burnout contest? I see a couple thumbs down, Steve. It's not looking good for you. What about Theon? Oh! Hold on, wait. In his defense, he does have to drive tomorrow. Okay, so just... If you guys want to see a super fat burnout, go to your local Crosby's and get more tickets and come back tomorrow. Or grab them at the front gate when you leave. Light them up, boys.
think it's on still. Yep. Perfect. So a little chaos in the burnout pit for Ben Bruno, Zach Snyder, Brandon Dempsey, everybody from Lake Erie Speedway. Thank you for coming to round number 2 of the Crosby's Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Summit Racing Equipment. We will see you guys tomorrow for more action on round number 3 on the Big Bank layout. Let's party, baby!